All right.
Welcome to the latest episode of BAM, that's Boris and Matt Weekly, the show where we chat some sports, the show where we chat some entertainment, and then at the end, we bring it all together to chat some sports entertainment. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour. How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well. We hope you had a good Thanksgiving. If you're listening from Canada, it was Canadian Thanksgiving. Boris, do you have any turkey? Do you have any pumpkin pie?
I did. I actually did. That was my Sunday. We typically do that on the Sunday because, you know, on the Monday we're off, and it's just easier to get the family, get the band together on a Sunday rather than a Monday, the day before work and school and whatever. And especially this week because my brother, he's still traveling back forth between the coasts, and he's actually leaving Tuesday morning to the West Coast for a few days. Short trip this time, but yeah, you know, the Aguilar Tomasino boys always traveling.
Nice, yeah, always on the road again. Just can't wait to be on the road again.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's good. Happy Thanksgiving, big homie.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, man. It's been quite the week, and we have a busy as hell show and a busy as hell week. But we'll talk about the weekend a little bit. But on this show, we're going to be chatting some Blue Jays blunder, for lack of a better term. I guess we might as well talk about the rest of the playoffs, set up the divisional series. I have a few hypothetical questions for you. We talked about this a little bit, but, you know, hold on to your seats, hold on to your groins, pucker up those asses, because I got some good stuff coming, some good questions coming. It's going to be one of those shows. I told you I'm in one of those moods. It's funny when I say one of those moods, I actually mean a good mood.
That's not right. That shouldn't be. You should always be in one of these moods.
Anyways, we're going to be chatting some baseball. We're going to be doing our weekly NFL coverage. Quickly chat some F1, minor footnotes on the F1. We have some entertainment. You got some horror, spooky stuff to talk about. I got some wrestling shows to talk about. And then we're going to shift it to wrestling. We got tons of wrestling. We got Impact. We got GCW. And then we got New Japan Pro Wrestling. All at you this week, man. Tons on the go. And just seems to be the theme of this week. Go, go, go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we also have a little thing we got to talk about Wednesday afternoon. But yeah, we also have a Bray Wyatt return we're going to talk about, and perhaps a spooky faction to tie in with the general spooky vibes, Halloween, etc. But yeah, there's a little something happening at the Rhino, 1249 Queen Street West from 1 to 5 on Wednesday afternoon, big homie.
Where is it?
It is the Rhino, 1249 Queen Street West.
So we're going to be at 1249 Queen Street West this Wednesday, October the 12th from 1 to 5 p.m. Is that what you're telling me?
I think so. Getting absolutely gore, just liquored. You know, no, it's not going to be too bad. I need to be sober for Dynamite, but we're going to be having some fun. There's some guests. There's some giveaways. We'd love to see you out there. If you're off work, or you can take the day off work on Wednesday, come on by to the Rhino, 1249 Queen Street West.
Yep, as Matt just said, 1249 Queen Street West. I love how we did this like completely on the spot.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're good. Sponsors, holler at us. We need more money for doing this. All right,
we're giving away gold material for almost free.
You know, geez. I always want to continue doing this for free every week, but we could get paid for some sponsors. Maybe we get some listeners. We'll show you how passionate a fan base we have at this bar. on Wednesday, October 12th, 1 to 5 p.m. Anyway.
Where is it? I don't know. Where are we going to be?
I believe it's the Rhinoceros Bar, 1249 Queen Street West.
Yep. It's just a hop, step, and a skip away from Coca-Cola Coliseum. Just remember, number 1, free admission. Number 2, pay for your own shit. Number 3, do not drink and drive. Nays pa drinkage, nays pa driving. Or if you are drinking, don't drive, I should say. Again, we take that super serious. Like, I know how we can get. I know how wrestling fans can be. I've seen people at the Rhino try to make it to BMO Field, and it, some stuff happens sometimes. But let's, like, in all seriousness, if you're gonna be having some pops, some adult pops, do not drive yourself to the Coca-Cola Coliseum. There's transit, there's Ubers, there's cabs. I'm pretty sure that I will even be inebriated enough to carry at least 2 people to the Coca-Cola Coliseum on my back.
That's bold. But hey, man, yeah, well put, well said. I couldn't agree with you more. The Uber, Lyft, TTC, buses, so many ways to get down there. Do not drink and drive, but definitely drink if you want to have some fun. We encourage that, especially at the Rhino, 1249 Queen Street West.
Yep, they have, honestly, their selection of beer is insane. The amount of taps that they have, unreal. The amount of cans they hold, it's like they have like 140 something different types of beer. Like, the mouth is just gonna be Dan Lavransky. He is just gonna be like moving into that place.
Gonna try to get a residency at the old Rhino, 1249 Queen Street West. Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, we got to start going though. We can't dilly-dally any longer. I think we should start with Draymond Green in true all elite fashion, punching a fucking teammate in the jaw. Did you see this video of Draymond absolutely unloading on Swaggy Poole, Jordan Poole?
I did see this. Now, what's amazing is earlier today, maybe like even 10 minutes ago, when I was mentally prepping for the show, I came across an article saying that apparently TMZ most likely spent under $10K for this video. That's insane.
Really? Yeah. Geez, we could have pulled together some money and read that on BAM. Got your name out there. That's amazing. But yeah, no, I don't think it was probably about somebody leaking it to TMZ. Right? I don't think it was about financial gain. I think it was about kind of like fuck Draymond. Whoever did it. I'm not saying it was a player, right? But like somebody in the organization. I think that's clearly what happened. I'm not trying to be conspiracy guy, but.
No, agreed. But yeah, no, the video is just like he unloaded on him. He basically went up there with a box of muffins and told him what's up.
Yes, yeah, it's straight up, yeah. So that was it was an altercation during practice. Swaggy Poole shoved Draymond when Draymond got in Swaggy's face, and Draymond responded by cold cocking this guy in the head. It looked very violent. To his credit, Draymond Green has kind of handled this well publicly. He hasn't gone on his own podcast and bitched about it. He said he apologized, needed to grow up, and is taking a leave of absence. And I think he's going to work to regain the trust. It's actually a stark contrast of what's happened in AEW, really. It seems like there's still drama and beef in the AEW situation, whereas it really does seem like Draymond Green is trying to squash it. But it's funny, we had video of a very similar situation to the CM Punk, very similar situation to the Andrade stuff happening in AEW, and it was Draymond Green cold cocking a teammate. And people like Swaggy Poole too a lot. That didn't help the situation.
That's exactly the thing, right? Like if it was, I can't even think of a player that like people unanimously hate, right? LeBron maybe, for some reason. Like really, like honestly, like there's a lot of people who don't like him, right? So if he got cold punched, people would be praising it, but it was someone that is generally loved around the NBA. So who knows exactly what sparked all this, right?
I think LeBron has the respect of most of the players. I think he's kind of like the elder statesman at this point. There was a time though where he probably would have that would have been true. I don't know if that is anymore. I think he's risen to like the old baby face status, you know?
Too old, where you're around so long that no matter what you do, you're going to be a face, kind of like that Ric Flair type of thing.
Exactly right. Like, yeah, no matter what, like that first time Christian came out, like, or whatever, like when he's going to come out in Toronto, they're going to cheer Christian no matter what. Chris Jericho, same thing. He's going to get cheered first time no matter what.
Okay. Put a pin on those two for the wrestling talk, because that's some of the hypothetical questions that I have for you as we lean into Dynamite. But
interesting.
Yeah. And I have a lot. I'm throwing a lot your way this week. Anyways, so yeah, that Draymond Green stuff was I don't know why, but like men who watch sports, for people who make fun of soap operas, they love watching this shit go down, right? Like the whole CM Punk situation, the whole Andrade stuff, the Draymond Green fights. Like, we live for this backstage real life stuff.
That's true. In many ways, it's more entertaining than the actual product. Sometimes when the product is stale or something, definitely. But especially in the preseason. And hey, man, it's just like, it's an interesting story. It's really, though it happens a lot, and a lot of people near the situation have said, man, I've been in fights. There's been 20 fights in my career in practice. Like, the difference is we saw it this time. And that's part of living in 2022, whatever. But man, it is notable when you fucking see it with your own eyes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's that situation in San Francisco. What else is going on? What else do you got for me?
Well, we can talk a little bit of the National Football League. I feel like we should do that pretty close to the hop here. So we had a terrible Thursday night game, one of the worst I've ever seen, literally of all time. Colts beat the Broncos 12-9. Broncos continue to be the most disappointing team in all of professional sports.
Yeah, it's unreal how bad they are. It is
truly depressing.
It is just ridiculous how bad they've gotten.
They sold so much of their future for Russell Wilson, who looks completely done. Their awesome young running back, Javonte Williams, out, I think, for the season with the ACL injury. So, yeah, it's rough times for Broncos fans. In jolly old England, we had the Giants pulling off an upset over the Packers. 4-1 New York Football Giants, Boris. They're the surprise team. They're the surprise in the good way.
In a good way. Yeah. They are more of a surprise than the Eagles. Like, everyone thought the Giants would kind of be not a joke, but not 4-1.
Not 4-1. I thought they were going to be pretty decent, but not this good. Yeah, the Eagles I thought were actually a true Super Bowl contender. I'm not very surprised. Maybe surprised that they're undefeated, but I thought the Eagles were going to be pretty good. So yeah, Patriots looking like they're maybe righting the ship a little bit with this Bailey Zappi under center. Patriots destroy the Lions 29-0.
Yeah, well, when you face the Lions, come on.
Yeah, the Lions are. Yeah, the Lions are no great shakes.
Lions gonna
indeed gonna lion. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns lose again. Looks like they're kind of just waiting for Deshaun Watson to show up in a couple weeks. The Texans beat the Jaguars. Reports that the Jacksonville Jaguars were good, greatly exaggerated. Jacksonville had a terrible week yet again, and that one was a bad beat for Trevor Lawrence. Now I think you can start legitimately asking some questions.
Yep, agreed. You know what though? It's unfortunate, right? Like, the transition from college to Pro Bowl sometimes just doesn't work out for people, right? Mark Sanchez always comes to mind.
That's a really good point. Yeah, man. Matt Leinart, there are a couple. There are a couple. But Trevor Lawrence was seemingly very special as a quarterback. Yes. But then again, Kyler Murray was the same way. And not like he's failing, but he isn't tearing the league up like you thought he might, right? Kyler Murray, I'm pretty sure, is like the greatest high school quarterback in the history of Texas. I think he grew up in, but he was like an absolutely incredible high school quarterback. Anyway, Buccaneers beat the Falcons, and they do it without Julio Jones. That would have been a Julio revenge game if he were healthy. So I think next time they play, the Buccaneers are going to beat the Falcons by even more.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about that hit on Brady that they called a foul.
Yeah. It was, if you didn't see it, there was like a perfectly legal, clean tackle, put Tom Brady down. And they called roughing the passer on it. Classic friendly Brady call. You know what, man? This has been happening since 2007 at least. His entire career. Honestly, we're Dolphins fans. How many times have we fucking seen this? That doesn't surprise me. It's like saying the sun rose in the west, east. I don't know. Sun may rise in the east. At least it's settled in the Frontier location. Anyway, buddy,
God.
I don't know much about the Sun, but what I do know is that Tom Brady gets calls. That's
Yep.
what I know.
No, that's exactly it. Then that's the thing. It makes me laugh. Like now it's getting attention just because of people are more interested. Again, another example. People are more interested in Tom Brady's personal life and his marriage than what he's accomplishing and has accomplished on the field.
Yes. Well, we talk about it enough. It's funny that my knowledge of science came from the Red Hot Chili Peppers there. I'm a fucking idiot. Buffalo over the Steelers 38-3, a thrashing. Jets over Dolphins 40-17, a thrashing. We had Skylar Thompson in, a 7th round draft pick in at quarterback. So yeah, it's not going well. You never want a kid who you picked in the final round of the draft an hour and a half ago, starting in week 5.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Remember when we made the reference to Any Given Sunday last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not happening here.
Is Skylar Thompson our Jamie Foxx? I think
no,
not.
He is not. Not at all. But yeah, Dolphins, I think they're a 500 team. They are a 500 team. They're not better. They're not worse. I think this is what to expect with the Dolphins, especially with, Tua gone.
Yeah, I actually think even with Bridgewater, they might be like 9-8, 10-7. I think with Tua, they're like a 10-7, 11-5-ish, 11-6-ish, kind of team. I think they'd be above 500 with Tua, but who knows when Tua's coming back. So yeah, it's times for the Dolphins. I wonder maybe they'll try to go get a backup quarterback of note out there, although there are other quarterbacks who are falling. Could you imagine if the Dolphins called up Tennessee and they're like, hey, Tennessee, you have Malik Willis. You have your quarterback of the future. What about this Ryan Tannehill fella?
Dude, I could see this happening. Honestly, I forgot who I was talking to over the weekend, and I literally said, somehow, some way, I can feel in my gut of guts that Tannehill is going to end up as a Dolphin again.
I fucking hope not, but we could see it. All right, let's go to the NFC. Vikings defeat the Bears. 49ers defeat the Panthers, who look like shit and fired their coach. Doesn't surprise me. The Panthers are a huge disappointment this year. The Eagles defeat the Cardinals. Like we said, they're looking nice. The Saints and the Seahawks had an entertaining game. Seahawks 32, Saints 39. So the Seahawks yet again involved in an entertaining game. This team is scrappy in Seattle.
Yeah, they are. I don't know, man. I don't know. I sometimes I just don't know. Seahawks, I don't know. They are scrappy. I don't know.
They're a little better than I thought anyway. Also, the Rams, disappointing. The Cowboys defeat the Rams. Very surprised that the Cowboys are doing so well with Cooper Rush barely playing quarterback, but getting it done.
It just goes to show you how good everyone else is. Like, let's be honest there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes. So just quickly looking at it, Buffalo and Kansas City look like the best teams in the AFC. The AFC South is a terrible division. Titans, Colts, Jaguars, Texans. Nobody has any clue who's going to win that division. Could be Tennessee. In the NFC, the Eagles are 5-0. They're looking great. Somehow the Cowboys and Giants in the same division are both 4-1. Both are big shocks there. I love the 49ers. I've been talking them up all friggin' year.
Yeah, in the NFC East. And then there's the Commanders.
Yes, the Commanders. Yeah, they lost to the Titans this week. The Commanders are bad at 1-4 in the NFC East. They are shite. But yeah, so in terms of exciting teams in the NFC, we do have the Eagles undefeated. Cowboys and Giants both playing way above their head. We'll see if one of them or both can keep that up. And like I said, watch out for the 49ers because they're going to be the team who actually wins the NFC.
You think so? You're still putting your money on them?
I literally have put money on them, and I will continue to ride them. I do think that will be the case.
Yep. Let's see. I think the Rams are going to pick it up. I think the Rams are destined to do better.
I hope so, but man, they didn't look good losing 22-10 to the Cowboys. But the Cowboys have a real something. They're playing hard. They have that nobody believes in us factor. Everyone wrote them off when Dak Prescott went out, man.
Before that, like, let's be honest, I think the Cowboys are sick and tired of being the butt of jokes.
Absolutely. They have been for so long. We should also talk on the Sunday nighter. Ravens defeat the Bengals on the strength of Justin Tucker kicking another game-winning field goal, the greatest kicker to ever do it. We're watching him, and we should appreciate that. He's helped Baltimore win so many games that they would not have won if they had even an average kicker, let alone like a normal Hall of Famer. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. Exactly. That game was actually pretty good. It was entertaining.
Yeah, it was all right. Definitely a little bit of a slugfest, but that's good from time to time. So yes, we have Raiders versus Chiefs starting in about 15 minutes from when we were recording this.
Yep. And we have Monday Night Raw starting about 4 minutes from when we are recording this.
By God, Boris. Okay, do you want to vamp about the Jays for a bit? I'll find a hair tie, put my hair up. We'll get into this one.
Where do I even get? Where do I even start with this? All right, so the Jays. So I wasn't planning to attend any of the games whatsoever. I thought, sure, watch them on TV, whatever. But on Friday afternoon, my buddy Kevin O'Leary, he sends me a message and he's basically like, hey, I think I can get us cheap tickets. And I'm like, how cheap is cheap? I didn't really look at StubHub or anything. And tickets are like hovering at $50. And we're looking at like, you know, just to get into the Skydome, it's costing $200. So $50, that's pretty damn good. That's a fraction, a quarter of the cost. So I'm like, yes, let's do this. But I couldn't on Friday because I still had some work and I was honestly exhausted from just the week that was and traveling and all that. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll watch this game. Let's try to aim for tomorrow. So Friday night, looking around, tickets are hovering around $40, you know, $45, $40. Then Saturday morning at like 9 in the morning, we see them just dip to like, you know, 25, 30. Bought the tickets for $30 each.
That's unbelievable, man. At least it wasn't a big financial loss.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. At least that's what I'm saying now. But like, but like, honestly, like, makes me wonder why. Like, where's the bandwagon? I remember back in 2015-16, it was impossible to find tickets. You know, it's like, it's kind of like Rampage tickets, right? Like, what the hell is going on with Rampage tickets? We'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, so $30, you know, did the pregame stuff, went to Hurricanes Bar, proud sponsor of Great Lakes there. So just like us, went to the Skydome, sat down, got some king-size beers, the Budweisers, 740 milliliters, $16 for that, which is a good deal when you think about it.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad for a ballpark, honestly. I saw that. Saw you cranking those on Insta.
Yeah, I had a few of those. But yeah, the game was great. For first half of the game, felt like $1 million. It was great. Things were going great. Robbie Ray goes down in the fourth inning. You know, Gausman is looking fantastic at this point. Things are going beautiful. Offense is looking pretty damn good compared to the night before. Defense is half decent. Things are looking wonderful. And then Merrifield gets a fastball straight to the head.
Yeah, so that was the start of the unraveling. Whit Merrifield gets a fastball to the head. He leaves the game. Raymond Tapia comes in. Not that Tapia is like bad, but I would have much rather had veteran Whit in there. Tapia is a little bit of a wild card, and he was actually the final out. It was Tapia. Could have been Whit Merrifield,
and
that would have been interesting.
Yeah, exactly, with someone on base, right? So.
Yeah.
It was just tough at that point. Like the unraveling started, but here's where things really changed. And let's talk about this a little bit. Bases loaded. Gausman loads the bases on his own. He, you know, and works himself to 2 strikeouts. Then Schneider, our coach, makes the change, calls for the bullpen on the with 2 outs down. Nobody has more. So nobody has more motivation to get that 3rd out at this point than Gausman himself. Why would you change him? Why would you go to the bullpen? And this is why I hate analytics. I hate, machines making decisions for you. Coaches like Roberts from the Dodgers, Kevin Cashman does this as well. They use numbers way too much and they make horrible decisions in the playoffs that cost their team like championships. I understand why he did it because of the whole new rule where you have to have the pitcher up for 3 batters. I know that's why he did it, and on the change of an inning, that goes away. So that's why he did that. But no one has more motivation to get that 3rd out than Gaussman. Dude, just go with your gut. Use your eyes. Stop looking at numbers. Stop listening to others. Go with what you think is best. And that's where the unraveling happened. Gaussman goes out, and then the complete unraveling happened. And what more can we say about that inning, right? They ended up tying the inning in one of the most fluke ways humanly possible. It was a blip right between second and center field. Bo Bichette takes out our all-star center fielder, George Springer, completely takes him out with a knee to the head. And that in itself is like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, this is where the youth of these guys is hurting them, because at no point is that the infielder's ball. 9 out of 10 times, 9.9 out of 10 times, without calling it, it is the outfielders. So that was just one of those things where just like, lack of experience in the playoffs especially, and nerves and the unraveling and everything going on just kind of took over. So that was the nail on the coffin at that point. That ended up tying the game on a bloop hit between second and center field. You allow 3 runs. The only reason they got 3 runs was because the runners were just running. It was on the 2nd out. But if they had allowed the ball to just drop and pick it up off the bounce, 1, maybe 2, most likely 2 runs would have gone in, but not the tying run at that point.
Okay. So, yeah, man, it's lots to unpack there. So, yeah, going back to the 6th inning where Gaussman was up, the bases loaded. No out, bases loaded. Kevin Gaussman strikes out 2 people. The fact that our manager, John Schneider, pulled him right there, that's going to cost him his job. Now, it is ironic, and it's pretty dumb that, like you said, it's analytics and it's rule changes, and you explained why he did it. But he is still the face. He is still going to get the blame for that decision, and I think ultimately he will be fired for that. So that was, I said it immediately when it happened too, like with the score still 8-5, I think, at the point that I said it. But yeah, so Gaussman is out. Tim Meza comes in, immediately gives up a run, and then a 3-run homer. It goes from 8-1 to 8-5. And then, as you said, in the 8th inning, we get George Springer and Bo Bichette running into each other. The Benny Hill theme starts playing, and the ghosts of Maple Leaf Pass come to the Sky Dome and haunt the Toronto Blue Jays. So, yeah, that was a devastating loss. One of the most devastating losses I've ever had as a sports fan, ever, experienced. But it was like, you know what? The Jays are a young team. I'm not worried. The day after, I was wearing a Don't Panic sweater around Toronto. Felt like that was the mood of the city. Yep. I think we're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right.
But yeah,
it just sucks. It just sucks loss. Because this was completely avoidable in so many ways, right? Now, this is where the joke comes in. The year literally went to shit when Austin Matthews threw out the first pitch a few weeks ago.
That's hilarious. That's so funny, man. Honestly, though, like jokes aside, we said in March, literally when we were starting to talk baseball, that the Jays' Achilles heel was going to be their bullpen, and if they don't find any bullpen arms or just like starting pitching in general, but especially relief pitching, they were going to lose in the playoffs, and that's exactly what fucking happened. So I hope that the management of the Toronto Blue Jays addresses this glaring issue, and I don't think they will, because I think they're stubborn about it for some reason.
They are. They're very stubborn about it. You know why? It's because it's coming from fans, and we know better than the fans, right? And I'm not anti Atkins and Shapiro. I'm not. I've defended them, and I will continue to defend them until this offseason. If I do not see those improvements, then I am joining the Shackins out.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a huge fan, but we'll give it some time in the offseason. Anyway, so our final, I guess our Elite 8 are set in the Major League Baseball playoffs. So in the National League, we have the Phillies playing the Braves, and we have the Padres playing the Los Angeles Dodgers, the California series there.
Yep. All right. So let's go through the American League, and I have a hypothetical question for you.
Cool. Okay, yeah. American League in the West, we have the Mariners versus the Astros, and we also have the Cleveland Guardians versus the New York Yankees. So one of those 8 teams will be your world champion of American baseball. And sometimes Canadian.
If Houston, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Braves struggle in this series, they're going to revisit giving these teams a full week bye.
That's interesting. I can see that for sure. Yeah, if all 4 lose, they will. I bet they will.
Even if half of them lose, like they're gonna really take a closer look at this because, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, but like really looking at it now, like these are 4 teams who, they're in the playoffs and they're fantastic, and that's why they got the bye. But you're taking them off their daily routine for a week. The pitchers, you're taking them off their routine, and if there's no sport where people are so routine-based and meticulous like baseball. So removing them from this routine, like think of the batters, their timing might be off. The pitchers, their routine is gone. The fielders, seeing the ball off the bat, like little things like that could make a huge difference. So having a week off is huge. Meanwhile, you have the other teams who literally just went through a series in a playoff atmosphere. So I am so curious to see how this divisional series this year is going to go with 4 teams having a week off after a bye series.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting, man. I'm inclined to believe it doesn't really matter that much. I still think the Dodgers are like the best team and should win. Their talent discrepancy is such in a couple of these series. But we'll see, man. It's going to be, like you said, I can't wait. It will be funny to see if like all 4 of the teams who got buys lose, and then they just completely scrap this playoff system next year.
Right? We'll see what happens. But I just wanted to raise that mainly because if something happens, I'm going to say we talked about it here on BAM.
That's funny. All right. You have some vrooms to talk about, some vroomy cars.
Got some vroomy cars to talk about. Vax Verstappen looks like he's winning his 2nd straight championship after the Japanese Grand Prix. Man, there was some scary stuff going on in that Grand Prix. And the FIA, this is all I'm going to say. FIA needs to get their shit together. They need to stop referring to investigations. There was a really dangerous situation that happened where caution trucks came out quickly after the caution was called, and some of the cars were still going at full speed.
Oh shit!
And it was raining. You could barely see shit in front of you.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Dangerous, man. Obviously very dangerous. It's crazy. Like I'm not an F1 hater. I just don't. I'm not a car guy, but it is incredible what these guys do. They are absolutely athletes, and it's fucking crazy, man.
Yep.
Very.
Yep. So that's I just wanted to quickly touch that. It looks like Red Bull is winning their 2nd straight championship.
Nice. There you go. Shout out Red Bull. You're much better than Monster.
Yes.
All right, man. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, before we move out of all these things, I wanted to talk a little entertainment, little spooky horror movie situation, because it is October. It is the spookiest of all months. Yep. So are you familiar with the streaming service Shudder?
Yes, I am. I used to.
Yeah.
I wonder if I still have access to that account.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's funny. I would doubt it, but yeah. So so Shudder is doing a series called The 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments. Now, it's not exactly a play off of, but it's kind of like a shout out to a series in the mid 2000s, which was the 100 Scariest Movie Moments. I believe it aired on Bravo, and that was really cool. That was like at the start of like pirating and downloading and stuff. You know what I mean? So to watch that series and finally like be able to actually see all the movies if you wanted to, or if you were like, able to, was actually cool. And now with this being 2022, it's just they're updating it, and most if not all of them are available on Shudder or Netflix or something, right? Yep. So it's just very educational, really cool. And it's just like I think they're not repeating movies, so theoretically like Exorcist you could say, or there's a couple movies that could have or 7 on the list, right? But they only get one per. But that's a good way to do it because they get to talk about 101 different movies. And sometimes it's like a broad strokes, like, oh, this is a old movie from Argentina. But sometimes it's like 10 minutes and it's like the director breaking down like minutia of this crazy scene. And it's a really good watch. So if you like horror movies at all, check that out for sure. On Shudder, the 101 scariest horror movie moments.
That's awesome because there's some really good movies out there, especially foreign ones. I find that the foreign spooky movies are awesome, especially the Mexican, the Latin Americans. They're some of them are really weird. One movie that I do want to watch, which just came out this past weekend, is Terrifier 2.
Nice, yeah. Was that the Argentinian one, Terrifier?
No, that's some like clown movie.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah. There's a crazy, I think it maybe is called Terrified, but like in Spanish, right? That's what they speak in Argentina. But yes. So yeah, it's what's Terrified in Spanish?
It's aterrorizado.
Okay, actually, I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah, it's about like spooky ghost boy, like zombie boy. It's really it seems like a dope movie. I'm definitely gonna check it out. But yeah, it just reminds you of movies, teaches you about movies. I'm really enjoying it. And there's like 13 movies per episode, so they really give these things a chance to breathe. I think we're at like 50 right now in the house, and they're gonna finish it, I assume, by Halloween, right?
Very cool. That's very cool. I like that stuff. All right, so I got some entertainment to chat with you, and it kind of ties into the second half of the show, and that is I watched the first episode of Vice TV's Tales from the Territories. Have you checked this out?
Great call. Same. I liked it a lot. Very good. Yeah.
I love the format. I love the format of having people who lived through it document their stories. Like there's just something historically awesome about that, just because these are people, like there's only a handful of wrestlers who are still wrestling that were in a territory. Raven, right? And look at that, like these are people like later in the wrestling career. So these are things we want to document, getting this from the horse's mouth, right? Especially as WWE and AEW buy up tape libraries. Say what you want. There's going to be revisionist history coming from AEW at some point. Not to the extent of WWE, but let's be honest, right? Like, it's going to happen. So having these stories coming straight from the horse's mouth is so important. And I'm not saying that, like, Vice TV isn't going to, or these guys aren't going to move things around. But overall, there is actual tape of these stories and historical documentation of what actually happened, etc. But Tales of the Territory, they were talking in the first episode about the Memphis territory. So we had Jeff Jarrett, Dutch Mantel, Jerry Lawler, Jerry Jarrett. Who else was there? Oh, and Matt for the South. Hart. Yeah, Jimmy Hart. And just sharing some awesome stories. Hilarious story of Jimmy Hart getting shot in the ass with a dart. Just some amazing stuff. Just amazing stuff. This week's episode is actually going to focus again on Memphis, but they're going to really focus on Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler.
I can't wait for that one. That's going to be really cool. Yeah, it's a really good idea for a show. I think they're doing an excellent job with it based off the first week. It airs on Tuesdays, I believe, right?
Yep. Tuesdays at 10 p.m.
Awesome.
Wednesdays,
you can catch
10 p.m. No, Tuesdays.
I thought it was
PM. Tuesdays.
I'm 99% sure it's Tuesdays.
It's Tuesdays.
And if you're like me, you can catch that on Crave TV. We do a thing in my family where like my sister gets Disney Plus and like my mom gets the Netflix. I get the Crave TV. I got the short end of that stick because it's the most expensive, but it's got some good things on it. Old Crave.
Yeah, it's got. I love Crave. Crave is great, right? It's got House of the Dragon. It's got Queen of the Serpents or something like that. That's a great show right now. Then they have the entire HBO backlog, right? Like The Sopranos, etc.
Exactly. So. Watching Sopranos and Wire alone worth the price of admission. All the Nathan Fielder shit they have on there, worth it for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, so Tales from the Territories, check that out. Really good show. Really looking forward to that. Continuing that series, I should say.
Yeah, the Andy Kaufman stuff is going to be very entertaining. And Lawler was great in the Memphis episode. He's still very lucid, knows exactly what he's talking about. So, and he's not that much of a bullshitter, although he is obviously a bullshitter next to like Jerry Jarrett and Dutch Mantel. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like he's that much of a bullshitter.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, we have to remember that wrestling is all about egos, and these are guys who, I'm sure, while a lot of this has happened, I'm sure it's been exaggerated a little bit, right?
Yeah, they might as well have called it tall tales from the territory,
Yes.
but I can see why they didn't, because you don't want to tell everyone we're lying. But like, yeah, you take these with a grain of salt, but that's cool. It's part of the fun.
Yep, exactly. All right. Is it time to chat some wrestling, my friend?
Yeah, we have so much wrestling to chat. So let's start with a man.
Before we even start there, let's throw out some hypotheticals as we're talking stuff. All right, so last Friday, here's the first one. Last Friday at about 8 p.m., Friday at 8 p.m., I get an email from AEW PR telling us that Jon Moxley has signed a 5-year extension to AEW, and then kind of buried in this is that it's an exclusive deal with AEW that will lead to him coaching and training and mentoring. Here's the thing. Saturday afternoon, evening, Jon Moxley was going to face Nick Gage in a championship or retirement match. Essentially, AEW ruined that main event by stating the fact that Jon Moxley is in an exclusive contract. Here's my hypothetical. I'm not trying to create controversies, but I'm trying to shed some light that Tony Khan isn't this angel that people think he is. Did PR send that on purpose to give away this ending because AEW has pulled all talent from GCW. AEW wanted or did not want Jon Moxley to wrestle in this event at all to even begin with. And Moxley basically said, F you. And yeah, so the timing is suspect in my opinion.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's, I can see what you're saying. I don't think they give a shit. I don't think they care. This is the first I've ever thought of that. Like, the timing is suspect, but I think we all knew anyway Nick Gage was going to win that match, right? Like, I don't see it personally. Maybe, though. Maybe Tony Khan's pissed at GCW and Joey Janela. Who knows?
Well, the thing is, like, why send it out the night before this match? There was no reason for that. On a Friday at past 8 p.m., they easily could have sent it out, when Moxley was home in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just maybe he'd signed it that minute. Maybe they were just excited.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just one of those things that make you go,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's thinking Tony Khan is like this angel or anything.
Oh,
but
there
like,
are people
I know what you mean.
who put them in this holier than thou like pedestal, and it's like, wait a minute. Let's take a look back and see some of those comments he's made about, like, with some of his NFL players and stuff like that. Anyways, so let's move on. So here's a fun one. So it was announced that Bryan Danielson is going to face Jericho this Wednesday. Jericho has gone on to say that he will be coming out to White Zombies Electric Head Part 2 on Wednesday's Dynamite for this match. And if you want to hear Judas, you have to go to Rampage on Thursday.
Yeah, it's devastating. It's legitimately devastating. I think it's terrible booking, and it's a little bit proof of Tony Khan maybe not caring about the right things as a booker, because this is Jericho's first appearance in Canada with this company. Let the fucking fans sing the theme song that they want to sing. Why are they getting too cute with this? I hope it's Jericho just kind of trolling, for lack of a better term, or I hope they come to their fucking senses. But just because Jericho is playing, quote, the Lionheart, because he's having a serious match, they've already done this gimmick. This is a terrible idea. If this is a way to boost Rampage sales, it's like really kind of sad that they're taking they're like withholding this moment. Like, no, you can do it like the second time. Buy a ticket to do it if you really want to. It kind of is like, that's some Vince McMahon carny shit. You know what I mean? That's like,
it's
like,
shitty.
You wanted this really nice heartfelt moment, you wanted this really nice heartfelt moment that makes total sense to happen. Well, you better pay for it. You better come to the show where the ticket sales are lacking. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here. Just let us please sing Jericho's song. I'm telling you this. I will lose a little bit of faith in Tony Khan forever if I don't get to sing Judas on Dynamite. Straight up. I will chant "We want Judas." I will ruin that fucking match. I will give it 1 star. No, I don't know. I don't give a shit about that. But like, yeah, man, like it will legitimately disappoint me. I realize that this is like pathetic wrestling fan shit, but like during the pandemic when Chris Jericho was coming out with the wrestlers singing, it was like, you know what I mean? It was just like such a nice moment when crowds came back and they started singing the song. And I was looking forward to having that moment too. And now I have to pay for a second ticket to do so. That's just bullshit carny nonsense. Just because Tony Khan has a boner for ECW, get the fuck out of here. Stop outsmarting yourself. Let us sing the fucking song. For the love of God, please and thank you.
Yeah, it's just when I saw that, I'm like, seriously, dude, seriously, what's going on here? But yeah, so let's talk about Rampage and the Rampage the sales. Like that show is hurting. There's still a lot of tickets up for grabs, but if you look at the secondary market, man, you can literally pick up floor seats for under $10.
Yeah, it's crazy. Good for us. I mean, right? If you don't have your tickets yet, you might be able to find some cheapies. But yeah, not what I was expecting, really. But man, that's what happens when you make Rampage the B show. You can't just say, "Oh, it's not going to be the B show," and then book, God bless him, Josh Woods every week. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not booking actual stars,
Josh Woods a star.
You're not booking actual stars.
He's a star in my eyes.
I'm not here to dismiss the works of Josh Woods, even though that's literally exactly what I just did. But no, man, I'm just saying, like, it's the B show, so it's got the B sales. That's what happens.
Yep. Not the B fab, but the B sales. Take a look at StubHub right now. Rampage tickets, middle kind of rows. They're going for $10, $15. Dynamite, $66. Section 101, row J, $66. Canadian, all in.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, my roommate Fleetwood was gonna maybe go, so he could still get a ticket. That's yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the Dynamite crowd actually is. What kind of wrestling fan it's comprised of. There might be people there who aren't diehard AEW fans. A lot of people who aren't.
Agreed. But it will be interesting to kind of see what type of crowd you're gonna get. Speaking of the crowd, let's talk this. Heel reaction or face reaction? MJF.
No, he's going to get cheered tremendously when he first comes out, and within 10 seconds, he'll make fun of the Jays and the Leafs, and he'll get booed out of the building. But at first, he's going to get a huge, huge reaction because Toronto recognizes talent.
Yes.
That's what they do. Toronto likes good wrestlers. Toronto cheered Chad Gable when I was at Raw because Chad Gable is fucking great. Toronto likes talent. Yep. That's why during that famous like Edge SummerSlam 2004 when they turned on Edge, it wasn't because Edge is not talented, but they were just sick of the act. It was just Edge was very stale. They recognized that, so they cheered Batista, who was talented and exciting at that time, and Chris Jericho, who was talented and exciting and also Canadian. So They turned on Edge because he was stale, and that's what Toronto does. They'll sniff out MJF's talent, cheer him until he says, "Oh yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays just broke your heart like the Leafs always do, you fucking dipshit idiots."
Cheers or booze, Christian?
Same, except I almost don't even think they're going to bring him out in front of the live crowd. I think he's going to do a backstage promo where he gets a lot of, I guess Luchasaurus is wrestling Jungle Boy. He's got to come out with Luchasaurus. Yeah, maybe they just do Bizarro World, man, and Jungle Boy gets booed in that match, and everyone cheers Luchasaurus.
Embrace it, honestly. I think it makes for an awesome TV product when everyone acknowledges and embraces the bizarre world of a certain city or town.
And I don't think Tony Khan is one to ignore that kind of thing. Well, one thing about Tony Khan is he will actually...
Hold on. This is literally the guy who is not going to play a song on Wednesday because ticket sales are poor on Thursday.
That's a really good point. But no, like that specific kind of thing, he's good at. Like, he's still a carny, but he's good at like actually saying reality, what's happening in front of your face. He's not going to lie to you about. He's not that carny. There's still a couple stages before he's full Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he has to go through the Paul Heyman stage. He has to go through like the
Bischoff stage,
the Eric Bischoff stage, the Vince Russo stage, and then he hits the Vince McMahon stage.
Yeah, Ted Turner, Vince McMahon, and then you go full Trump.
Exactly. So that's gonna be interesting. Like I'm really looking forward to the crowd. But Matt, one more time, where are we gonna be before Dynamite?
Well, we're going to be at the Rhino, Boris, 1249 Queen Street West, big homie.
You do realize 1249 Queen Street West is the title of this episode.
Oh, good. It should be, yeah. At the, the Bash at the Bar. I got a hypothetical for you, man.
Okay.
Big homie. So Bray Wyatt came back to tremendous fanfare. People loved it. Regardless of what you think about Bray Wyatt, the worker, or Bray Wyatt's future potential here in WWE, for this moment, the return was great, right? So Bray Wyatt apparently is coming back with a faction, the Wyatt Six. It's currently his Twitter handle to be all the reports. So hypothetically, who do you want to see in the Wyatt Six if it happens? Who do you want to see? Not to who do you think, not your prediction. Who do you want to see in this?
So here's like realistically, it's hard because like, everything that I'm seeing, either Liv Morgan or Alexa Bliss are going to be joining that faction. I don't know which one of the two.
It's going to be Liv. It's going to be Liv. I think so. I think they're telegraphing that pretty hard with the finish on Extreme Rules. Yep. Also, if you go check out YouTube, there's a YouTube exclusive where Liv Morgan goes full Mankind, rocking back and forth in the bowels of the arena, Boris, in the boiler room or something.
Yep, exactly. So let's say Liv Morgan. I will say Liv Morgan. I will say Bo Dallas. I will say...
Seems like Bo Dallas is back. So yeah, that's a given. Check. They're in.
Eric Redbeard.
I agree with that. I think Eric Redbeard's probably going to be part of this. Re-signed, sealed, delivered. Yeah.
The other three, I don't know whom.
I think it's only going to be two because I think Wyatt's going to be one of the six.
Okay.
So it's only five other guys. Yeah. And my guess is, so you got your sister Abigail, Liv Morgan, Rabbit, I think is going to be Rowan. I'm not sure who's who, but yeah, let's just say this is what's going to break down. The Fiend will be Bo. So that leaves us with Buzzard and Pig, Huskus and Birdman. So I think Huskus, Joe Gacy, that lines up pretty well. I think that's a popular rumor out there. There was also Grayson Waller tweeted out a bird emoji when Bray Wyatt came back, which scares me because Grayson Waller can do so much better than this. I'm thinking the Buzzard, who I want to see as the Buzzard, honestly, Cameron Grimes could be the workhorse of this group. He can make anything work, and then eventually they can turn on him and he can be a real person, whatever. I think Cameron Grimes could be a good Buzzard, Boris.
Or they could redo the exact same Bryan Daniel story with Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, exactly right. Do it just exactly like that. Let's do it. But yeah, Huskus could be like Junior Bray, kind of learning the ropes. I think that could be an interesting thing. But yeah, I hope they keep Grayson Waller out of this faction. They keep Grayson Waller out of this faction no matter what. He's got A+ potential on his own. He's doing excellent work. He could be a unique modern heel. Don't make him a spooky lackey.
Yep. Speaking of returns, looks like the Good Brothers are going to be coming back to WWE, joining forces with AJ Styles in his current feud with Judgment Day.
Respectfully, good for them getting checks in the wrestling business, but don't care. Don't have much time for either of them. Carl's okay. Don't have any time for Luke, Gallows, and they're going to be baby faces with AJ. Nah, whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel about that. All right. Do you have anything else you want to throw my way before we get to reviewing some GCW, Impact, and New Japan?
No, man, let's just get to it. I think that covers it pretty well. I do think the Wyatt Six will be a fun thing. You might even know by the time you hear this because they might do it on Raw.
So again, I hate doing this just because like we're kind of mixing stuff, but Wyatt is scheduled to appear on Raw. He was officially announced at the show open. I'm watching Raw to the side as we record.
There you go, man. There you go. So we might have radioed ourselves, but it'll be a fun thing. We'll see how accurate we were. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right. Let's talk. Let's start with some GCW. I'll kind of speed through this as best as I can.
Okay, I don't even have notes in front of me, so yeah, this is all you, big homie.
Yep. All right. So GCW's Fight Club 2-night event from Atlantic City, New Jersey at the Showboat. So the first night was outdoors in brisk 45-degree, 50-degree weather. So the first match was Leo Rush, Blake Christian, Gringo Loco, Shane Mercer, Jimmy Lloyd, and B-Boy in a six-way scramble match. Leo Rush won this match. He was actually kind of like a secret entrant at the very end. He came out a little bit after the match started. This was okay. Leo Rush is Leo Rush. Blake Christian looked great. I like Gringo Loco. It essentially came down to Leo Rush and Blake Christian. So that was kind of a thing that I think that they're teasing for a future program. So yeah, this match wasn't bad.
Nice. I love Leo Rush, man. I know he's maybe you'd call him a bit of a head case, perhaps, but I like his work a lot. I hope he finds whatever it is he's looking for in the wrestling business. You know.
Okay, a match that you should check out at some point. Shun Skywalker defeated Nick Wayne in 10 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yeah, the very little bit I've seen of Nick Wayne has been extremely impressive. Need to see more Nick Wayne. I haven't seen Nick Wayne versus Ospreay yet, which obviously people loved.
Yeah. Shun Skywalker was awesome. He's awesome.
Nice.
He's kind of like Bushi in a way.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So this match was one that people should check out. So Shun Skywalker ended up winning this match. The next match was Sawyer Wreck versus Ali Catch. This match was cool just because Sawyer Wreck is so much taller than Ali Catch. This was kind of good. Sawyer Wreck ends up winning this one after she choke slammed her through a door. This one was pretty good.
Choke slam through a door. Classic GCW psychology. I gotta love it.
Yep. Next match was Yamato versus Tony Deppen. Yamato is kind of like a Shinsuke Nakamura type Pokemon. And Tony Deppen, if you've watched some ROH, you kind of know who he is, especially the end days of ROH. This match was pretty good, actually. I liked it. I wish this match was short, though. It was only given like 8 minutes, 30 seconds, and Tony Deppen ended up winning this one after he hits a Shining Wizard running knee for the win.
Nice. Is Yamato like the guy from Dragon Gate?
Yes.
Like he's been there for a while? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's cool, getting some play overseas. Yeah, I'd love to see that. We love Tony Deppen on this show. The new Dean Malenko, we've called him.
Yes, it's exactly. With a little more character.
Yes, a little more character for sure, a little more personality. You know what? Daniel Garcia also has a claim for the new Dean Malenko. We need to see a Garcia versus Deppen match.
Dude, it's hilarious that you say that. I was talking to a buddy over the weekend, and I'm like, if they redo the 1,000 and moves of Dean Malenko with Daniel Garcia, and when he eventually does feud with Jericho, I think redoing this 30 years later, it will kill me.
That's funny. Yeah, there could be some Malenko Jericho vibes with Garcia Jericho. Eh? Holy shit. I never even clued into that until this moment. Back on, Boris.
All right, next match. Los Macizos, Ciclope, and Extremo Miedo versus Joey Janela and Cole Radrick. Of note, Joey Janela and Cole Radrick were going to face each other belt for belt on night 2. So this match was all right. Yeah, this was actually crazy because what's his name? Who was it that got hurt? Ciclope ends up getting hurt in the middle of the match. Extremo Miedo. No, it was Ciclope who got hurt. Separated his shoulder in the middle of the match. Kind of took off, came back, ended the match, and they ended up getting the win. So Ciclope and Extremo Miedo defeating Joey Janela and Cole Radrick after Cole Radrick delivers a cutter by accident to Joey Janela.
You never want to RKO your opponent by accident, Boris. Jesus H.
Yep. Jonathan Gresham versus Jordan Oliver, another match that you should check out.
Might have to hit you with an accidental RKO at the Rhino, 1249 Queen Street West, sometime between 1 to 5 on Wednesday. Jonathan Gresham return, eh?
Yeah, Jonathan Gresham. That was really good. Jordan Oliver, kind of like a mainstay, kind of like a newer talent making his waves through the indie scenes. Jonathan Gresham ends up winning this. Again, short match, under 10 minutes.
Huh. All right. Well, that's probably for the best.
Yeah. And then we got Rina Yamashita and Drew Parker versus Matt Tremont and Alex Colon. This is probably the match that you saw clips of where you said no mas.
There was no way.
Team death match.
Yeah. Intergender death match. There's absolutely no way I will ever devote my time to watching that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
It was exactly what you would think. Went almost 15 minutes though. Much longer than it should have been. At one point, Yamashita and Parker were hitting each other with light tubes to pump each other up as if it was spinach on Popeye. And they just start beating the crap out of Matt Tremont with light tubes. Yamashita and Parker end up winning in just under 15 minutes.
Cool. Well, at least they won. Drew Parker's actually pretty good. I think he's got something outside of this deathmatch business.
Yep. And then Effie, he defeated Shota in 4 minutes 37 seconds.
Shota, like Shota Umino?
Not New Japan. Shota Umino, just something named Shota. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for clarifying.
Yep. All right. And that match was all right. Exactly what you would expect from an Effie match, right? Like.
For sure. Yeah, we've seen it, but that's cool. He's got a shtick. It's working for him.
Yep. Main event. Nick Gage defeated Jon Moxley to win the GCW heavyweight title. This was a 21-minute death match. Now, got the shtick. You saw everything. You saw the pizza cutters. You saw Moxley trying to cut Gage with light tubes. You saw everything. You saw injuries. You saw blood. But then the end of the match, W. Morrissey comes out, beats up Moxley, puts him through some doors and a pint of glass. Gage goes for the pin. That's not enough. Gage then goes for his... he starts doing a stomp, and he does his finisher. That gives the win to Nick Gage.
So, Big Bill Morrissey ran in. Are we going to get Moxley versus Morrissey coming up?
So Stokely Hathaway was there too, right? So this was their group, kind of. I'm assuming that we were intended to believe that this was on behalf of MJF.
True. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, so I don't think that I don't think that there's going to be that much beef between AEW and GCW if GCW is doing AEW angles in their main event, right?
Well, apparently, so a couple people talked about this on the GCW side where they had zero say on how that match was going to end.
I see. All right. Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So who knows? Honestly, who knows?
Cool.
So
yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I'll definitely check out the one you recommended. I don't know if I'll watch anything else on that.
No. There's just a couple matches that I would for sure watch from there. All right. GCW Fight Club Night 2 started with a scramble match. Sawyer Wreck, Alec Price, Leo Rush, Shane Mercer, Axton Ray, and Dustin Waller. Leo Rush ends up winning his second scramble match of the weekend.
Dang, so Rush shows up and wins them both. That's good.
Yep. All right. A match that you should check out. Blake Christian versus Shun Skywalker. Excellent match.
So this Shun Skywalker, what's his deal?
He's from Dragon Gate, and he's just kind of just doing a few matches here in America. But he's really good. Like I don't know who I would really compare him with. Like kind of like he can be comparable to a bunch of guys, right?
Okay. He's got gear that kind of makes him look like Starman from the NES Pro Wrestling game. Yes. He is, real name Shun Watanabe, born May 30th, 1996. 26-year-old kid, Shun Skywalker. Yeah, I'll have to check out some Shun Skywalker. I have not seen a second of his work.
Yeah. Pretty good. This weekend was the first time I saw him, and I was quite impressed. All right, next match was Gringo Loco versus Masha Slamovich, coming off an excellent match, Bound for Glory. This match was it was all right. Masha ends up winning. some pretty good storytelling, if I may say so myself.
Nice. You may say so.
All right, next match was title for title, Joey Janela versus Cole Radrick for the DDT Extreme Championship and the GCW Extreme Championship. This match was a Joey Janela match.
Yeah, sometimes they're great. The one with Kenny Omega is an all-timer, but sometimes they're just him flipping into the crowd.
No, you know what? I gotta say, this one was pretty good. I think Cole Radrick kind of grounded the match quite a bit. It was pretty fun. It was actually one on the better side of a Joey Janela scale.
Cool.
Yeah, Joey Janela ends up winning. The commentators though kept telegraphing the win because they're like, what is how is Joey Janela gonna explain the loss to DDT if he loses their belt?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The next match was Ali Catch and Effie, known as Bussy, versus Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. This match, it was all right. Ended in a no contest when Charles Mason comes in, wraps piano wire around Ali Catch's throat, and the match goes to a no contest.
Jeez.
Yep. All right. Match of the weekend. Mike Bailey versus Yamato.
Nice speedball doing work. I love it. The piano wire in the previous match. Really? Yes. We're going that far?
Yep.
I guess GCW got to up the ante.
Yep, exactly. All right. Yamato ends up winning this match. Not a good weekend for speedball Mike Bailey, but two excellent matches to put on to notch on his wherever you put notches.
Yes, on his black belt. That's where he notches him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A black belt. Yes, that's it. Yeah, so Yamato ends up winning this match. The next match was Miedo Extremo versus Drew Parker. This match was all right. Didn't really pay too much attention here. Next match again, it was Jimmy Lloyd, Dylan McKay, and Marcus Mathers versus Second Gear Crew. One called Manders, Mance Warner, and Matthew Justice. This match was pretty good until the end when Justice drove McKay onto Mathers. So Justice had McKay, does a Death Valley driver off of a tall-ass ladder through Mathers, who was leaning up against a door stuck between two chairs, but they literally crash on the guy's legs. Like, I would not be surprised if this guy broke a leg when they fell down.
Jeez, man. Yeah, that's crazy. It's just like, it's a little too much. And the sad thing is you just went through a death match on the way to this death match. And I loaded up the notes for this show, and there's another death match after this. So they went 3 death matches in a row to close this show.
Exactly. So Second Gear Crew won this match, and then the main event was for the GCW Ultraviolet Championship, Rina Yamashita versus Cyclope. This match was actually good. I like this match. In the scale of liking death matches and the scale of intergender matches, this one was actually pretty good. If there's any death match that you're going to check out, this is one that you should check. The Ensai Yamashita powerbombing Cyclope through a bundle of tubes, and then she makes Cyclope submit after putting on a crossface, but using barbed wire on the arm to the face.
Oof. A classic spot. Yeah, I will never watch an intergender death match. Not for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was it. That was the show. Overall, not bad. I've seen worse. I wish they gave the regular matches more time. That's my one complaint. There's too much precedence on the death matches. I think that if they were to even out the timing, I would have enjoyed the shows that much more. It wasn't the worst, but GCW is always a bit of a struggle just because of the death matches and the intergender matches, and then you have intergender death matches.
Yeah, so that's why I stopped watching it. I can't do it.
Yep. All right.
It's just damn.
So that's that. Want to talk some Impact Wrestling, Bound for Glory?
Sure, man. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Bound for Glory. We're going to really focus on 3 matches, probably the best matches of the night. So quickly, the pre-show had Brian Myers versus Dirty Dango for the Digital Media Championship.
Ex Fandango showing up on Impact, getting squashed by Brian Myers.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Then we got Raven being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Tommy Dreamer inducts him. I think this was Dreamer's first appearance since Dark Side of the Rings episode over a year ago.
Oh, good call. And you know what? People just completely forgot about that, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. This was all right. Raven talked more about pre-TNA days than TNA, but he did call out TNA for kind of saving his career. He said that ECW, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted. He said that in WWE, he got clean. He went to WCW for the money, but he was the demons and skeletons in his closet were full-pledged. He said he got clean for WWE, but he hated his time there. And TNA essentially gave him an extra 6 years to his career. He said he hated the drive to Nashville, but he loved TNA for what it was. And yeah, that was pretty much it.
Nice. Yeah, Raven, a talkative motherfucker, as we both are this week. But yeah, no, it was nice to see this. And him DDTing Tommy Dreamer to end the segment was a lot of fun, too.
Yep. All right. Let's focus on the first match of the night, which was for the X Division Championship. Speedball Mike Bailey, your champion, versus Frankie Kazarian. Matt, was this the match of the night?
Oh, it's really tough to say. There were 3 bangers. It's definitely up there. I think actually it might be, man. Although I'm seeing a lot of people say the main event was the match of the night. I do actually think this was my match of the night. I quite enjoyed it. Mike Bailey's awesome. Frankie Kazarian with a performance that he kind of needed to remind us all that he's still here. He's still great.
And that was the story. That was literally the story was I'm still here. I'm still great. I'm still doing my thing. I can still win belts. That was literally the story going into this match. And for Mike Bailey is, for me to be legitimate, I need to beat the best there were.
Yes, exactly right. And so it was a really good match. I wonder if Bailey losing, and Triple H in charge of NXT. There were rumors that Mike Bailey was going to NXT right up until 2.0 happened. I wonder.
Right? I was thinking of the same, but he's been losing a lot. What I love the storytelling here was Frankie Kazarian. How many times did he try to get that chicken wing in? He tried it. He was like Bob Backlund in Survivor Series '94. It's as if it was his only move.
Yeah, but it worked. In the end, he knew that was the weapon that would be the thing to beat this Mike Bailey. And I like that he was going to it over and over.
Yeah.
There were a couple spots that were a little too cute, a little Tony Khan too cute, a little overthought. But at the end of the day, I thought this was an incredible match. These guys kicked ass here. This was so great.
Yeah, Mike Bailey goes for the Ultima Weapon. Kazarian catches him with an RKO. Bailey then kicked out, but right from the kick out, Kazarian hits the crossface chicken wing to end the match. Oh, such a good match.
Yeah, so that shooting star thing, so that was exactly what I was talking about, was that spot right there in particular.
Yeah.
They tried to recreate the old Evan Bourne, Randy Orton shooting star RKO, but it was just the way that Frankie Kazarian was standing. It was very clear that Mike Bailey was just doing a shooting star into nothing to get RKO'd.
Yes.
So that was, there's a couple moments there where it was it was a little silly, but that's pro wrestling in 2022. This was brilliant. Incredible match.
Oh, it's so good. So freaking good, man. All right. Mickie James versus Mia Yim. This was, a potential career match for Mickie James. Mia Yim goes into this match. And, dude, I enjoyed this match as well.
Nice. I did not watch this. I took a break from the show here. But, yeah, so Mia Yim loses. Mickie James continues her career.
Yep. Pretty good match overall. The next match was VXT, Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green versus Death Dolls, Taya Valkyrie and Jessica with Rosemary for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship. So this match was pretty fun. This match was your typical tag team match. Heels take advantage of the faces. There were blind tags. There were tags that got waved off because the ref wasn't paying attention. The VXT double teaming, VXT cutting off the ring. Like I said, your typical match. But The Death Dolls end up winning after Taya gave Green a roundhouse kick, and Jessica got the pin.
Nice. So new Knockouts tag team champions. Good Canadian girl, Taya Valkyrie and Jessica.
Yep. Should be noted in the previous match that this could potentially be Mia Yim's final appearance for Impact, as her deal ran out and there's been no update on a new deal.
Oh, interesting. AEW bound?
Speaking of people who could be their potential last appearance, The Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett with Maria Kanellis versus the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley for the Impact Tag Team titles.
Yeah, just like Kazarian, the Motor City Machine Guns bounce back year, reminding us all that they're still here. They still get it.
Yep. This match was pretty good. I kind of like this, right? I think Maria tried to get involved one too many times. Bennett fishhook Shelley, knocked him off the apron. Bennett then super kicks Maria. That Sabin kind of moved out of the way. Taven rolls up Sabin for the win. And the Kingdom defeated the Motor City Machine Guns to retain the championships. And it's interesting because something must have happened at the tapings, because it is being reported that the Kingdom is without a deal right now.
So yeah, that's nuts. So
or they're working on a day-to-day per appearance deal.
Right. I wonder if the titles are going to be switched, because I didn't watch this match, and I just thought from the reports that came out that of course the Motor City Machine Guns were going to win. I'm surprised to hear they did not.
Yep. All right, Impact Call Your Shot Battle Royal. Oh man, this got a lot of people angry. This match may have turned people away from Impact. This match essentially is a Royal Rumble match. And the final two competitors end up having a regular match, with the winner having a title shot of their choosing over the next year. You could have built up new wrestlers. You had Steve Macklin making a name for himself. You obviously have people like Moose. You have Sami Callihan. You have, Rich Swann. So many people that could have won this match. Hell, Taylor Wilde came back for this. Hell, I don't know who else could have realistically won. But do you know who won? It wasn't Bobby Fish.
Hell?
Actually,
yeah, man.
Of note, before we get to that, when Bobby Fish came out, there were very loud CM Punk chants in his hometown.
Yeah, that's a tough beat for the Albany boy to get the CM Punk chance. But he's Bobby Fish. He's a weird 46-year-old trumper. I'm not surprised about that. Yes. Did you say who won?
No, not yet.
We're going to spoil this. Yeah,
all right. It wasn't even Norman Smiley. It wasn't even Rhino. It wasn't even, oh my God, Matt Cardona. Could have been so many people. But it was none other than Bully Ray making his return to Impact Wrestling and winning this match to have a future title shot. And the last two people were Bully Ray and Steve Macklin. And yeah, Bully Ray won.
I don't mind it that much. He's gonna get destroyed by Josh Alexander, so they'll have a match with some weapons. It'll be okay. I don't mind it. I don't know. I can see what you're saying. Like, elevate a young guy here. Why not? But whatever. I think I would rather watch. This might sound crazy. I'd rather watch Bully Ray versus Josh Alexander than I would Macklin versus Josh Alexander, just because that's just kind of like a wrestling match. That's just kind of like, like an undercard guy from TNA versus their champion. At least Bully Ray is like unique and interesting. It would be cool to see what they can do together. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have more intrigue for that match.
Yeah, I can see that. I can for sure see that. All right. And then the last two matches were both bangers. The first one being the Knockouts Championship, Jordan Grace, your champion, versus the challenger, Masha Slamovich. This was just two women wanting to kick each other's ass, two women overpowering each other, two women who just beat the living shit out of each other.
Yeah, it was a Haas versus Haas female match. One of the best of those kind that I could ever see. Although you see more and more of those these days. Two big gals beating the shit out of each other. But yeah, this was an excellent match. I'm not super up on these ladies' careers, but I would have to say this is the best match of either woman's career, right?
I think so. I think so. And a lot of people are calling this the female match of the year. A lot of people are calling this, potential even, up there, like making a lot of lists for match of the year. This match is getting a lot of positive attention.
I'm sure there were a couple better Stardom matches. Like I think there was like a Stardom cage match with Natsupoi that was amazing. That's definitely, in my opinion, that's the female match of the year so far. But in terms of United States, North America, I bet this might be the female match of the year, man. It really might. It's not Lash Legend, it's not someone in WWE.
Yet.
Love it. But this was just two incredible athletes throwing bombs, just a war.
Yeah, it was great. Masha drags Jordynne Grace to the top rope. Grace reverses it, hits Masha with a super Grace driver from the top rope, and that gives her the win. I love the fact that she needed to do something extra because just the regular Grace driver wasn't enough. She needed to do it from the top rope. Managed to do this after a while. Man, they were putting each other in torture racks. They were throwing each other from everywhere. Grace hit Masha with a vertebreaker, which I love to see and scares me every single time.
Yeah, you shouldn't kick out of a vertebreaker because that's such a dangerous move. Arguably the most dangerous move in the history of professional wrestling. Like, yeah, I did like. It's awesome seeing it, and this is the WrestleMania. But yeah, you never kick out of a vertebreaker.
Yep, there were Canadian destroyers, Vader bombs, you name it. They did it essentially.
Yeah, it was again, and that's like if every match was that, and it sucks because it's in 2022, it's becoming that every match is almost like that, But yeah, for this night, for this moment, this kicked ass. This was incredible.
It was so good. All right, let's talk about the main event: Josh Alexander versus Eddie Edwards for the Impact World Championship. Another pretty good match.
I think that the consensus is that this was a great match. I'm reading right now the notes on the Wrestling Observer website. The person who reviewed this, just going to scroll up here, Josiah McDonald, lost his fucking mind for this match. Boris, listen to this. Are you there?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so this match was awesome. There is no other way to put it. Edwards and Alexander wrestled in an absolute classic in what had to be one of the best Impact matches ever. Wow. I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that. I thought it was great, but one of the best ever? I don't know.
I thought after watching this match, that'll contend for a spot on the 122. It was a little long, but it was absolutely dope. But I do think the opener was the match of the night. So for him to say that this was one of the greatest matches in the history of the promotion, that's a big compliment. That just shows that wrestling is subjective, not objective. And maybe you would like these matches more than we do from time to time. So yeah, definitely check out this one. Josh Alexander versus Eddie Edwards, the main event of Bound for Glory.
Yeah, it was really good. Eddie Edwards controlled most of the match. Like, he really did. It was Josh Alexander, having spurts of offense, but Eddie Edwards controlled a lot of the match. They went to the outside. They took out the padding on the outside. The exposed wood was there. Josh Alexander took a lot of punishment there, and vice versa. There was a weird ref bump in the middle of the match. That's when Honor No More started doing their stuff. There was a lot going on in this match. There was just maybe a little too much. It was maybe a little overbooked at the end of the match. The crowd was kind of funny with your "take your shirt off" chants for Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, because he was rocking the Honor No More shirt. So yes, the crowd chanting "take your shirt off." Strange for a crowd of people to chant that to a man, but hey.
Yep. Josh hits Eddie with a discus forearm. Eddie comes back with a jackknife roll-up. Eddie took down Josh with a stiff clothesline. Josh then comes right back with another discus forearm, follows that straight up with his C4 spike to pick up the clean win in 28 minutes.
Yeah, long ass match. They were going for that epic, and it was great. It was great.
Yep. After the match, Honor No More beats down Josh Alexander. Rich Swann tries to help, but that didn't go too well. That's when Bully Ray comes out. But who is Bully Ray going to side with? Is he going to side with his buddies at Honor No More, or is he there to save the day? They teased him joining Honor No More, but because he picks up Josh Alexander, and it looked like he was going to beat him up, but he ends up beating up and helping Josh Alexander clear the ring from Honor No More. That's when Bully Ray grabs the belt, holds it over his head as he screams to Josh Alexander as the show closes.
Yeah, so I wouldn't panic about this. It's going to be a fun little short-term thing. Josh Alexander will beat him and move on.
I hope so. If that's the plan, cool, whatever. But I still think that they should have used that specific match for bringing someone up. They could have done this without Bully Ray winning that match.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he could have just shown up and saved him and then challenged him for sure. Yeah, but it's a Royal Rumble on a pay-per-view in the middle of the card. Try to excite the fans.
Yeah. So that was Impact's Bound for Glory. Again, good show. Didn't have the star power. Didn't have that like WrestleMania biggest show of the year feel. But again, you had 7 strong matches throughout 3 hours. There's nothing that I love more than a 3-hour pay-per-view. WWE is doing them. Impact is doing them. Let's stick to 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's try to get this podcast done before 3 hours too, buddy. We're gonna transition to.
We're only at 125. We're doing a lot better than I thought.
Only. Yes. That's not too bad though. Yes. So we still have New Japan Declaration of Power to talk about. That was from this morning, October 10th, 2022. I'm going to take a break, get a water, and then we'll be right back with you, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, so let us talk about this excellent New Japan show. New Japan seems to be heating up a little bit. It's going to make the world of difference when the crowd can cheer again, though, yes. Man. That's going to help this so much.
Yeah, so the crowd drew, there was just over 4,000 people at this show, so that's cool. That's a positive thing. Something I wanted to bring up before we started going through the crowd. Was it me? Maybe because I did watch this live, which sometimes watching a New Japan show live it can feel long, but this show didn't feel too bad. But things felt fresh. Things felt new. It's almost like if they had a new booker or something, because I feel like a new crop of wrestlers coming up through the ranks.
Yeah, there's some fresh faces in big places, and that helped a lot. But there was still very much the ghetto booking that we've come to know and love, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, no, there was. I think it's knowing that the crowd's about to come back and seeing those fresh faces. It does feel like the New Japan's heating up a little bit. Like I said, I agree with that, man.
Yeah, it felt really great and like a nice, well, not nice, but a somber way to start the show. But it was really well done, really respectfully done.
Yeah, it was a nice tribute, a nice gesture. So yeah, this show starts with almost a good 30 minutes of tribute to Antonio Inoki. The entire roster comes out. They do a very nice video. And yeah, it was just a super classy, well done. Chris Charlton explaining to us, translating for us. He does awesome work as a New Japan commentator. So yeah, that was just definitely something to watch, especially if you're a little bit of an older fan and grew up with Inoki in your life to some degree. You could go back and watch this tribute. They started the show with New Japan Declaration of Power, October 10th, 2022. Definitely worth your time.
I'm going to have to stop you right there, my friend, because as I mentioned, as we're recording, I am watching Monday Night Raw, as they like to call it. And, it's kind of funny because this rarely happens when we record BAM as Raw is happening. And the one week we talk about stuff potentially happening on Raw, well, they're happening. Judgment Day is out. They're cutting a promo against everyone, I guess. AJ Styles comes out. He teases joining Judgment Day. I'm assuming he's saying something on the lines of, I've joined a group, but it's not yours, or something along those lines, because that's when Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, come back to WWE. They're all doing 2 suites right now. Well, the 3 of them are doing 2 suites. There you go. Good Brothers back in WWE. But Matt, oddly enough, we're talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling because I think someone from the Good Brothers has a belt from New Japan.
Yeah, it's worth noting Carl Anderson is currently the never open weight champion in New Japan, and there he is on Monday Night Raw. So we'll see if this title is going to get vacated or what's going to happen. It'd be funny if he went back over and lost it. I guess that could theoretically occur. But yeah, there's Carl Anderson on Monday Night Raw with Doc Gallows. So they're back. Good brothers.
Yeah, that's a thing. All right, so let's go back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. This show, Declaration of Power.
Yes, no never open weight title, as you can see. But yeah, some awesome matches here. So the first match, the Ren Narita comeback match, a 6-man tag. Ren Narita, Robbie Eagles, and David Finlay against Dookie, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and El Desperado. 7.5 minutes. Narita pins Dookie with a bridging overhead German suplex. Looked beautiful. You rarely see that. You see a bridging German often, but a bridging overhead belly to belly, you rarely see. It's called the Narita Special number 4. Red Narita wins. He's the baby Katsuyori Shibata. He's getting a push here in New Japan.
Dude, I don't know about you, but he's looking more and more like Shibata every day. He's got the haircut, he's got the trunks, he's got the body. He is looking like Shibata more every single day.
It's like when you get a cat or like a dog and they start to look like you. That's what's happening with Shibata and Narita.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so crazy, and I do appreciate the fact that Kevin Kelly and Charlton and Rocky Romero kept saying just how much of a student Narita is to Shibata. So that's obviously the story, and that's how they're going to try to get him over.
Yes, yeah, and rightfully so. That will work. So good call. Second opener. Match, I liked it a lot. Yeah, awesome finishing move too.
Ren Narita is sick. Sorry, here's the thing about this opener as well. And it's funny because when we turn off cameras, we always talk over each other a lot more. And it's the fact that it was a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. It was a trios match, and I actually liked it. Like, it's one of those, it didn't feel like a throwaway match.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, Red Narita comeback match. It was a big deal. And it's rare that they'd put a big deal match at the start of a show here. But yeah, no, It did feel like a big deal.
Even the next match felt like they're building up to something.
Yes, so match number 2, the Dangerous Techers, Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bad Dude Tito and Shane Haste. Zack Sabre Jr. pins Bad Dude Tito with the European clutch in 9 minutes and 58 seconds in this one.
This was so good. Shane Haste, I really enjoyed. Bad Dude Tito's always fun. And Zack Sabre Jr., he's Zack Sabre Jr., man.
Yeah, it did suck to see ZSJ in the second match here. That was kind of rough. But yeah, at least he won.
Yep, at the very least.
Match number 3, another trios match. Taguchi, Raisuke Taguchi, and Hikuleo, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace rocking his hair, versus the Bullet Club, Evil, the Tokyo Pimps, Yujiro Takahashi, and Sho. So after a humongous chokeslam by Hikuleo, Taguchi pins Sho. It was funny. Taguchi had the shit kicked out of him. He had eaten a couple pile drivers. He was completely dead. But then Hikuleo hit the chokeslam, and the corpse of Taguchi gets the win here. Quite enjoyed that.
The way that Hikuleo, I like how he's looking around the ring. He's like, which one is legal? It's you, Green Trunks. And he literally just drags him over and puts him over Sho for the pin. It was so funny and so well done. And I'm really enjoying this story of Hikuleo, of a Bullet Club trying so hard to kick his ass for betraying them, but they just can't.
Yeah, exactly right. I love it. I love it too. I think we're probably one day going to see Hikuleo in WWE, probably with Tamatanga and Tangaloa versus the Bloodline in a couple of years.
Versus the Good Brothers and AJ Styles.
Gross. Match number 4, Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus the Great Okan and Jeff Cobb from the United Empire. The boys from the Empire win. Jeff Cobb hits Tour of the Islands in 10 minutes and 9 seconds.
Man, Jeff Cobb is good, but there is another big guy that I think is going to make a bigger splash in New Japan than Jeff Cobb right now.
The big whale, Jonah?
Yep.
I think so. I can't wait to see some Jonah versus Jeff Cobb feud. That's going to be good. Next match, an 8-man tag. This was a little weird. So we had Los Ingobernables, Bushi, Hiromu, Sonata, and Tetsuya Naito versus the Empire's Francisco Akira, TJP, Aaron Hanare, and of course the leader Will Ospreay. So yeah, this was the debut of Teton, who is now in Los Ingobernables. Do you know much about Teton?
Yeah, so he's in CMLL. He's kind of gone through the ranks through CMLL. He was actually into Super Juniors this past year. Teton, he's good. He's very good. He is a much better Bushi. He's kind of like a buffer Ray Fenix. Not quite Penta, but he's kind of like in between them in terms of style. He's a little more.
Well,
he's a little more. He does the high flying stuff, but he's a little more technical.
nice. Well, that's pretty high praise there. I'm definitely pumped to check out some of his work. It seemed like it kind of seemed like he invited himself. Like
Yes.
he wanted to prove himself to Los Ingobernables. So he was like, I'm gonna help beat these motherfuckers up and show them I belong. And he kind of like asked / said he was joining, and it seemed like 3 of the 4 were for it, but Hiromu was a
Yes.
little trepidatious. So maybe that'll be something that plays out down the line. But yeah, Teton has joined the group. So Los Ingobernables win this match with Teton interference in about 8 minutes.
I like this match, but that whole ending sequence with Teton just yelling into the mic, kind of like, being squirrely, getting onto the apron and then yelling into the mic. It was just so awkward. And I love like how LIJ is just like staring at this guy, like, who the fuck is this guy?
Exactly. Yeah, it was funny. It took so long to play out. It was very, very strange.
Yeah, and Hiromu kind of played the role of the Oos. What's his name? Jay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the like trepidatious, like looking at this motherfucker, like I do not trust this guy. He is that ooze for sure.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what happens because number one, this is the first non-Japanese member of LIJ, and I'm assuming just because of the way that all of this played out that he is going to be a junior heavyweight. So I think we are going to is this the door for Takahashi to leave LIJ and kick off a solo career?
I think so. I hope so. It's far past time for that. If he's healthy enough to do it, I hope it is time.
Yep. Okay, the next match. Holy shit, did I love this match a lot more than I thought I would.
Really interesting. Master Wato defeats Taiji Ishimori in 14 minutes, 40 seconds. Go, buddy. Tell us about it.
So this match was originally supposed to be Ishimori versus Kushida. Kushida is still out with sickness, and Masaruto stepped in. I really enjoyed this match at the end of the day. It's like I don't know. I really enjoy Ishimori. That's what it comes down to. It was relatively fast paced. Wato, anytime he tried going for top rope moves, Ishimori always caught him and he would turn it into something. Like at one point, Wato went for, I don't know what he was going for from the top rope, but Ishimori literally puts on an STF right after. And it was a lot of back and forth of that. Like, I find that, it was, if there's ever been a 50-50 match, this was it. But I guess this is considered an upset win for Master Wato.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Pinned the champion in a non-title match, right? So yeah, Master Wato, the biggest win of his career, maybe.
Yeah. And then they start playing out the angle because after the match, Master Wato grabbed the mic, and right before he could say anything, Hiromu Takahashi comes out. Then El Desperado ran in. He takes the mic from Hiromu. Desperado taunts Ishimori, and all that. So Ishimori returned to the ring and challenged to make this a 4-way match.
Yeah, and the announcers pointed out that's ballsy for the champion to make it a 4-way because he has only a 25% chance of winning or whatever, right? So, yeah, 4-way down the line, Ishimori, Wato, Hiromu, and Desperado.
I'm guessing that's the match at Wrestle Kingdom.
I think so. What do you think Kushida would do then?
That's the thing, right? Like, maybe it's like, you're sick, too bad, so sad, or maybe they have something else for him. Maybe he'll face Teton. I think that would be a good match.
True. Really good call. I bet that might be it.
Yeah, but I think this will be great. And what I can really see happening is Hiromu winning, T10 winning, and then we see T10 and Hiromu going at it. Because, like, just the way that it played out, that they're going to eventually fight each other.
Yeah, and I can see the LIG or LI Jay being a little, and them being a little miffed maybe at young Hiromu not accepting this guy. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah,
man.
but I love seeing these angles, right? Like New Japan, like it's rare that you get these types of angles in New Japan. So I'm really enjoying this. What's even rarer is the next match out of the Vince Russo book of booking.
You think so? I don't think so, really.
The Who's Your Daddy match?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was the presentation was a little strange here for sure. So the 7th match of this show, Shingo Takagi versus El Phantasmo in a Who's Your Daddy match. Now, it wasn't like the pre-match video package was really strange. Lots of like graphics of like children and stuff. But the match itself, it wasn't like diapers and baby powder like X-Pac and Razor Ramon had one of the crybaby match. It wasn't quite like that. It was a regular normal match. And at the end, the loser had to declare the winner to be his daddy. And that's what happened. Shingo Takagi. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, see, I don't think it was like ridiculous like Vince Russo level. I thought it was a little bit of fun. But yeah, so Takagi taps out Phantasmo 16 minutes and 1 second with the ground cobra twist.
Okay, 2 comments I'm going to make. Number 1, let's remember this is, Shingo is the King of Pro Wrestling champ right now. And that entire trophy, that entire division is a joke. It's comedy, right? Like it's the Toro Yano division, essentially. It just hurts me. It pains me to see 2 talented guys like Shingo and El Phantasmo doing these types of matches. I think that's what hurt me the most. But the match itself was fine. But it's everything around it was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's fair. It was very silly. It definitely is not going to be one that you remember because of that. They worked very hard in the ring. It was an excellent match in the ring. But yeah, because of all the nonsense, it's not going to be something that sticks with you for sure.
Here's the thing also. El Phantasmo at the end of it low blows Shingo and destroys the King of Pro Wrestling trophy. Is this the end of this gimmick?
I hope so. I think it's run its course. And if they have the television title, they don't need this one as well. It'd be a good way to write out the title. I had that thought. I hope that they kind of just retire it here.
Yeah. So let's talk about the TV title. So New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced a New Japan World Television Championship in partnership with TV Asahi. Each match has a 15-minute time limit. High speed is encouraged. It is youth-focused, and a tournament to crown the new champion begins next week, with the culmination happening at Wrestle Kingdom 17, January 4th, 2023. All title matches will air for free on New Japan World and all social media platforms.
That's a fun idea, like the YouTube title. I hope that they stick with that and keep that going, and it's regularly defended. This is intriguing. They straight up said that it's vibes of the high speed title in Stardom, right? So that's what they want. They want this to be the version of that title, which is meant to push the younger wrestlers, kind of like an X Division title.
Yeah, this is their version of the Digital Media Championship, right? What you think of the belt design?
I hate it. The belt actually sucks. It's one of the worst belts in wrestling today already. They need to change it.
I feel like they were going for like an old school territories type of belt, but it just looks ridiculously horrible.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, they were trying to do a little too much. I think they wanted that territory feel. They wanted to include the New Japan World logo, and it just looks like, I don't know, like a bronzed, I don't know, like something like a kid made at art class that your grandma bronzed or something, right?
It looks like something your kid made that you're forced to put on the fridge because they're your kid and you can't tell them his shit.
Exactly.
As 2 guys with no kids, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently. I hope not.
We don't know.
I guess we don't know for sure. Match number 8, best match on the show, possibly best match of the entire podcast. This was a banger. Okada versus Jonah 2. So without surprise, Kazuchika Okada has now had the 2 best matches of Jonah's career. I don't think that's even up for debate, but this one was almost as good as their G1 match, not quite there. Still fantastic. Okada wins in 19 minutes and 53 seconds with the Rainmaker. I said a couple times during this match, wow, Jonah's beating the shit out of this guy. He whipped him hard into the barricade, clotheslined him hard, powerbombed him hard. Jonah hit this man hard.
Yeah. Okay, the booking of this match. was just masterful. Not only did they pay tribute to Antonio Inoki, but they called back to their G1 match, and Okada righted some of his wrongs from that match.
Yeah, exactly right. Keep you paying attention, Boris. So I thought their first one was a classic, and this one was just a shade below. It's going to be high on our list of top 122 at the end of the year.
Which is coming up real fast, man.
Oh yeah, I need to sink my teeth into that in the next couple of days for sure. Yeah, it's been a busy weekend with people around, but Mike around. The great Mike McGuire crashing on my couch. I think he's actually at Joe's house right now, and they're gonna do Raw after, which is gonna be a lot of fun. Anyway, so yeah, I need to get back to the list. Here's a match that won't be on the list, but was very good. Just a little too long. It ran into the New Japan issue of just too much of a good thing. Tama Tonga versus Jay White. Jay White wins in 31 minutes and 7 seconds with the Blade Runner. So it was a good match, a good showing from Tama Tonga, who has become a pretty solid baby face. But this was not like when Okada wrestles friggin' whoever, El Desperado, and you think for a split second that are they going to put the title on Desperado? You know what I mean? Like, you never had that suspense of disbelief here with the heel Jay White versus babyface Tama Tonga.
Okay, so I 100% agree with you. 100%. You're like perfectly right. I think that the match went too long. I think that, having said that, though, there was one moment, I think at about the 30-minute mark, where Tama jumps to his feet, hits the gun stun, and I think half the building thought he won the belt.
Yeah, there was a moment there, actually. You are right. That was a pretty good near fall. Although, I not to be like, man, it didn't impress me. It was an excellent wrestling match. These guys worked very hard. But I got to tell you, that moment, it didn't fool me. I did not think that he was, I was like, well, Jay's kicking out here.
You think you're better than me now? You think you're better than me?
I love it. Some real Goodwill Hunting energy. How do you like them apples? I love it so much. But
it's not your fault, Matt. It's not your fault.
Perfect. I do think I'm better than you and all wrestling fans. No, I'm just kidding, man. No, I don't believe that they'll ever put the IWGP on Tama Tonga. I think you'll go to WWE before that happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I just love those moments where it's like, you know what the outcome is going to be. And even then, like, they try so hard to make you believe it's going to go another direction. Like, I agree with you. I didn't think Tama Tonga was going to win, but just the crowd reaction was amazing, right? Kevin Kelly, like they were so good in this match, trying so hard in this match. But, you know, for Tama Tonga's solo career, I think this is pretty good. Don't give him 31-minute matches. Like, let's New Japan, Booker man, do not make every main event a 30-minute match. Not every main event needs to be a 30-minute match. I know we say this almost every time we talk New Japan, but this is a perfect example of a match that you could have accomplished the exact same thing, maybe even have more emotion to it in 15 minutes.
No, exactly right, man. That's why the G1 matches are so good, because they do have that tight window that they stay in. Although it's a 30-minute time limit, they rarely go anywhere near the 30-minute time limit. Anyway, 100% agree. Good show. Check out the Jonah versus Okada match for sure. That might be the match of the week. Yep. You got to start doing match of the week on this podcast. We should stop doing long reviews and just do like match of the week top 5.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's certain shows that we should talk about. I like talking about New Japan. New Japan always gets some good attention. Impact, there's a lot more attention in Impact. We'll see what happens moving forward, because I know there's a lot of pissed off fans about Bully Ray. I kind of like that. That's why I try to also skip through quick some of the reviews, not going into too much detail.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, Mike's calling me, buddy. So I think we got to stop this podcast here. I got to go see if I got to let this guy into my house.
All right, so that is another episode of BAM Weekly, the show where we chat some sports, the show where we chat some entertainment, and we bring it all together, chat some sports entertainment. 1249 Queen Street West, 1 to 5 p.m. this Wednesday, October the 12th. Bash at the Bar, our pre-Dynamite party. Come one, come all, free attendance. Just pay your bill there. And remember, do not drink and drive. I'm going to be there. Matt's going to be there. Mike's going to be there. Joe's going to be there. Dan's going to be there. It's going to be most of the SNME crew, along with Dark Side of the Elite and the handshaking team, THT, who have been awesome to work with. Huge shout out to Randy for putting most of this party together. You've done an awesome job. Matt, it's been awesome as always. He's Matt. I'm Boris. Until next time, stay tranquilo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.